DJ Bubbles here, the last day of the Rototom Festival here in Spain, and I have an extremely special guest sitting beside me. Her name is Chiara, and I'm gonna let her tell you her story. Chiara, how you doing, girl?
Hi Bubbles, hi everybody, I'm doing very fine. Yeah.
So could you tell the massive your affiliation with Rototom?
Yes, of course. As I told you, my name is Chiara and I'm the press assistant at Rototom, which means I'm the link between the artist and the media accredited, as well as sometimes I host the press conferences and I take care that every media can go home with the content they need, the media outlets, yeah, of course.
For sure, and I know that you already gave me a bit of history about Rototom. Could you tell the massive where Rototom started and how long ago?
Of course. Rototom, as you may know, this is the 25th edition of Rototom in Benicassim, Spain, which is a small town on the seaside close to Valencia, and but Rototom wasn't a Spanish event festival at the beginning. Rototom was born in Italy, in a region called Friuli Venezia Giulia, which is located in the northeast of Italy on the Slovenian and Austrian border, where a group of friends initially 25 years ago founded a club. The club was called Rototom, and I wasn't there because I was way too young to go out at night, but was let's say it was an underground club where they used to bring different type of genres, music genres, but basically underground genres, so reggae of course, but also punk, rock, electrons, experimental music. So this was the very beginning. Then they decide to move forward and organize a little get-together, which can be described as a festival, which was in Gaio di Spilimbergo, and I think it was a weekend. I'm not sure, but it was few days.
Yes.
And it started to grow so much that they looked for other location, and it moved to a place called Lignano, where a camping was basically a already structured camping was hosting the festival for some days. So Rototom was growing in terms of visitors, but also in terms of music acts and spaces. So from the very beginning, I think it was never just a music thing, but they tried to involve also other activities, and that became pretty much clear when they moved to a little town called Osoppo, which had a big park. It was not really a camping, but it could be organized as a camping. So the Rototom crew built and structured the park in order to become a camping, and there is where the Rototom grew very big, and where they stayed till the last Italian edition, 2009. And that is where I got in touch with Rototom, because I come from that very specific town, and when we were kids, of course, we used to go to the festival, and I started to know reggae music, because when you come from a little place in Italy where, I mean, very small, like 3,000 inhabitants, and there is not much entertainment or music or culture, so Rototom brought fresh air and a lot of international inspiration for us. And this is where I started to get in touch with reggae music, Jamaican culture, and dancehall, which was then my biggest love, and I kept following them and work with them even when they moved to Spain. That process, it's now a very complicated process to explain in few words, but let's say, to recap the situation, that Italy was no more willing or let's say the region in some situation, they were not willing to host and welcome the Rototom people and the Rototom friends anymore. So there were two options. One option was like to stop to organize the festival, and the other option was to move. And Spain and Benicassim welcomed the family of Rototom, and so many people from Italy moved to Benicassim to restart a new life. And now we are, this is the 8th edition in Spain.
So
yeah.
previously was in Italy. So tell me what about Rototom keeps you know, coming back and being so heavily involved?
This is a very good question. I think that the very first aspect is that I have so many friends here that I can't see they all here because I live in Germany, in Berlin. So I can see them only here because some live in Spain, some live in the UK, some live in Jamaica. So if I don't come to Rototom, I miss a part of my friends. So I would say that this is really the thing moving me every year. Like you met Kappa is one of my best friends, of course. So it became really a family here. And secondary, I love reggae music and I love Jamaican culture, and here I can learn so much. I've learned in my life so much. There are really big heads, and from the Reggae University to the opportunity to see some of the most crucial bands and DJs and experts in the world when it comes to reggae music. So it's the place to be to feel the culture and in Europe.
Definitely. So you mentioned, I know that you traveled like to Jamaica and stuff. That was for Rototom as well?
No, the Jamaican trip was my let's say related to my personal life. Of course, Rototom made me grow this love, deep love for the island. So at a certain point I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go. And a few years ago I booked the first trip to Jamaica. I went to Kingston for 3 weeks, and then I kept going. Since then I try to be there once a year. Now working, I did sometimes twice a year, once a year, it depends, with the job, it was actually not for working, but just to go to the roots of the culture and the music, and that's why I used to go to Kingston. That was my first goal. Now I get to know other parishes, and I love the island as such, of course, because it's one of the most beautiful places on earth, I suppose, and the energy and everything. But it was for myself. Rototom was as crew in Jamaica. You can also find some documentaries. There were a couple of documentaries shot there some years ago, but I wasn't part of that team.
That sounds amazing, though. And also, you work with the radio as well, I think.
I'm part of reggaeradio.it, which is a crew. Well, this is also very special because it's a crew that met. So I became part of Reggae Radio here at Rototom. Basically, we used to accreditate a team coming from Sicily, Italy. And after a couple of years, they were coming here, as you came here, basically to cover the festival and do some live shows from the festival. They asked me if I could take care of an interview for them because they wanted to have that content, but they couldn't interview the person. Was Dati Bookman, who is a cultural entrepreneur and writer from Jamaica, and after I did it, they were like, why don't you start to write regularly for our blog? And now I'm running the editorial team. So basically we are an international team living in Germany, UK and Italy. We work together. We have been working together for, I would say, can't recall, but I think 6 years now, and yeah, it's a lot of work. It's also sometimes a lot of stress, because if we have to do a meeting, we have to find a
Sorry
moment
for
where
that
the team-
interruption, Massive. We were discussing the radio. Continue on, Chiara.
Carlo is here to cover for Reggae Radio. He's accredited, so we had a little get together today. And yes, Reggae Radio family. Yeah, this is one of my projects.
The name of the station again?
Is www.reggaeradio.it.
Reggaeradio.it.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, and in terms of Canada, I think I'm the only Canadian media here this year. And how, for a Canadian artist, how can they become more involved, or even Canada as a whole?
Yeah, I was I was talking to Bubbles about the fact that the Canadian diaspora is not really represented at Rototom, not from a media point of view and not from an artist point of view, because except few examples, I can't really mention any Canadian artists.
Chelsea.
So, yeah, of course, Chelsea was here and we were talking about it, but I think that Canada is producing much more in terms of reggae and dancehall music. So guys, just, I would say, link up for the Canadian media. They should get in touch, yeah, with the media office. Bubbles will tell you how to do it and get accredited. Come cover the festival, get your links and collaboration. And for the artists, what I suggest is, I'm not the art director, so I can't tell you guys I'm gonna put you on a stage, but we have different areas. We haven't mentioned it, but probably Bubbles told you, there is a men's stage, a lion stage, a dancehall area.
Took a bit of a break, and on our break, Chiara, I asked you, with all that you do, the radio, Rototom, traveling around, you're a professional journalist, a writer. Do you find that you're making a difference for reggae in Europe? What you do? Like, do you find it's grown more? Like,
well, sometimes it's difficult to answer it. I hope that when I work for an event, or I collaborate with other events on production team or media team, we make a difference. My little goal when I write an article, I run an interview, or I work for an event, is that I bring the original Jamaican culture outside, because unfortunately Jamaican culture is very stereotypical. Yeah, stereotypical. People think they know things that are not real, and they don't go in depth. They know maybe Bob Marley or they know Sean Paul, but they don't know. Yeah, they don't study really the culture, which is also pretty complicated, because I mean, you have to learn a new language and a new completely mindset, and sometimes. So I think that what we do and what I do is just trying to to share the real. I don't want to be that arrogant that I know the real Jamaican culture. I'm not Jamaican, but from the little things I find out, I try to share that. I don't know if I make a difference, but I'm sure that my little work plus other little works plus some big work, because there are some cool journalists in Europe too, and Jamaican music fan and lovers, they made a difference. We all together.
I think so. So is there anything else that you want to share about Rototom? How did you like spending 6 days with Bubbles?
Well, Bubbles was a great companion for this edition. Really committed and really on point with her question to the artists. She gave me also the Canadian perspective. Yeah, the only thing I think to share outside, because I had to reason question about it, because the Rototom lineup sometimes mix with other genres and other Caribbean genres, and I think that this is important because even if sometimes people can criticize the fact that it's not just it's a reggae festival with also other crossover acts, and some people maybe does not like it, I don't know. I think it's fundamental to get people to know reggae music. You have to bring people in the reggae music space, and you have to do it crossovering somehow, no? So maybe as when I was a kid, I went to first time to the festival and I was completely ignorant. I remember my mother told me, yeah, there is this event and you have to go there and check, and I was, no, I won't go to a disco and a disco party and so on. And then it changed my life so much, actually, experiencing that event. So I think that maybe some kids coming here to see artists like Ben Harper who are so worldwide known, or maybe Orishas tonight who are come from the Cuban heritage, they will bring them and maybe here and they stop to the Dub Academy and discover what a sound system is, or maybe get in touch with dancehall and find and fall in love with some artists that they didn't know before. So yeah, that is what I think is the most important way to grow the
so you're saying Rototom is not only for name brand artists, you also have a platform for the upcoming, not upcoming, but it's a variety.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a music space. So I mean, different projects meet here. I mean, there is the African culture, there is the Latin American community, which is very strong with their reggae music. And you know, when reggae music went out there, it syncretized so much and influences so much the world. That is normal that there are artists who were inspired by reggae music, but they are not doing strictly reggae music right now, or they think about the influence of dancehall out there. I mean, there is no other country in the world I think generates so much different genres and sometimes, you know what's funny in Europe, that the stream of reggae music of Jamaica, let's say Jamaica music, because not just reggae music, I'm thinking also a pre-reggae genres, don't know, ska and rocksteady and folk music, and how they evolved and how they came in Europe and how many different genres are influenced by reggae music. And then in Europe, people divided themselves in a lot of small niches. No, you have people listening just to dance, people listening also to future dance, people going to roots live events, people going to dubstep, and all the other bass music niche. And people listening only to conscious music, and people only to slackness music. And this is so fun for me that everything comes from a little island where people make way less differences than here. Because I have friends in Jamaica. What touched me a lot when I reached Jamaica was seeing that Rasta listening also to dancehall, and dancehall kids they know the music from the elders too. So it's not that niche. What I'm trying to do when I talk to younger people and younger than me is be curious. If you are now a dancehall lover, go in depth in the dancehall culture, but check out, because dancehall does not exist without the sound system culture, and it comes from a specific way to approach the
Chiara from Rototom Media and Artist Specialist. It was so wonderful to hear you speak about your passion for reggae music.
Goodbye to everybody. Sorry if I talk too much. I hope it was not too long, Pablo.
No, it's
a big pleasure to meet you and
Pleasure to meet you.
keep babbling around. And I hope to see you and maybe see you in Canada because I've never been there and this is on my mind.
I gotta bring you.
It's on my mind to be there. Yes.
Of course, you know where to find me, girl.
Yes.
All right.
Goodbye.
So
Thank
we're
you.
over and out. We're gonna go enjoy the Mighty Diamonds and Taurus Riley. Gotta go. Bye, massive.